We filed a complaint against William Smokey Robinson Jr. We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick.
4 women are making some disturbing new allegations against a Motown legend. I want to show you a live look at a press conference with the accusers and their attorneys. It's happening as we speak in California.
Shocking news has rocked the music world. Gordy has just confirmed long-standing, disturbing rumors about Motown legend Smokey Robinson. Several former employees have stepped forward with serious allegations of abuse, claiming years of mistreatment while working inside the Robinsons' homes.
One employee says Robinson her at least 23 times.
The suit outlines troubling accusations, not only against Smokey, but also his wife, who is accused of contributing to a toxic and hostile environment.
Robinson's wife is also named in the lawsuit. It details multiple allegations, some as recent as last year.
These women, many of whom were vulnerable due to their immigration and financial status, say they were trapped by fear. Now, with legal support, they're finally speaking out. Let's delve in. Smokey Robinson is a famous singer and songwriter. Many people love his music. He gave us hits like Cruisin',
Let the music take your mind.
and Being With You.
I don't care about anything else but being with you.
He worked with Motown and helped make many great songs. People respected him for his talent and long career in music. But now, something serious has happened.
We filed a complaint against William Smokey Robinson Jr. We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick.
A lawsuit has been filed against him. A woman who worked in his home has made strong claims. She says she was treated badly while working for him. Because of this, people are talking not just about the music, but also about what famous people should do and how they should treat others. This case has made many fans feel shocked and confused. For years, Robinson was seen as a gentle and respectful person. His music always talked about love and kindness. That is why many people are finding it hard to believe these new claims. But even when someone is well loved, it's important to listen when someone says they were hurt or mistreated. People are now thinking more about how stars behave behind closed doors.
These are some serious allegations, and the attorneys just now calling Smokey Robinson a serial that needs to be stopped.
The women who are speaking out are not using their real names. In court papers, they are called Jane Does 1 through 4. This is done to protect their identity because what happened to them is very personal and painful. They are afraid of being judged or harmed if their names become public. These women are all Hispanic and worked as housekeepers for Smokey Robinson and his wife, Frances Robinson. They say they were paid very little and treated very badly. They did not have the money or support to leave their jobs, even when things became unsafe.
4 women are making some disturbing new allegations against a Motown legend. I want to show you a live look at a press conference with the accusers and their attorneys. It's happening as we speak in California.
Elizabeth Milner, a legal expert from Law and Crime, explained that the women have filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court. This lawsuit is almost 30 pages long. It says that Smokey Robinson did things like battery, false imprisonment, and created a hostile work environment. These are all very serious charges.
In a lawsuit filed today against Smokey Robinson, the women who used to work for him say he sexually assaulted them and created a hostile work environment, among other things.
The lawsuit also says that his wife, Frances Robinson, did nothing to stop him, even though she knew what was going on. In fact, the women say she helped make their workplace feel even more unsafe by yelling at them and calling them names.
Robinson's wife is also named in the lawsuit. It details multiple allegations, some as recent as last year.
Jane Doe 1 started working for the Robinson family in January 2023 and worked until February 2024. She says she was forced to leave because of the way Smokey treated her. She says he her many times. The first time happened in March 2023. She says he would take his wife to the nail salon and rush home early, knowing he would be alone with her. When he got home, he would call her to his bedroom. He would lock the door, take out the dog, and then shower. After showering, he would come out wearing only his underwear. He would put a towel on the bed and then force himself on her.
You said it. Bombshell is right. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I read the complaint. Graphic details of too graphic to even discuss on TV, but
Jane Doe 1 says that Smokey kissed her on the mouth, neck, and breasts. Then he touched her in private areas without her consent. She says he used no protection and hurt her physically. She tried to stop him, saying things like, "You're married." But he didn't care. She says this happened at least 7 times before she quit her job in February 2024. Jane Doe 1 believes Francis even knew about other women who had been hurt before but chose to ignore it. Jane Doe 2 tells a similar story. She worked for the Robinsons from May 2014 to February 2020. She also left her job because of what she says Smokey did to her. She says the started in 2016. Smokey would send her text messages asking her to come to his house in Chatsworth where there were no cameras. She says he took her to the laundry room or garage where he attacked her. She says he touched her inappropriately and then her. She says this happened more than once, and each time she felt scared and helpless. Jane Doe 2 says Smokey also refused to use protection. She felt too scared to report him. She was afraid of losing her job and being unable to support her family. She also feared being embarrassed in front of others or damaging her immigration status. Since Smokey was famous and had powerful friends, she felt like nobody would believe her or help her. She says Francis also treated her badly by yelling and making her life harder when she did not do what Smokey wanted.
Another says Robinson's, quote, brutal advances were constant and even predictable while she worked for him.
Jane Doe 3 worked for the Robinson family from February 2012 to April 2024. She says Smokey had a routine. He would shower, come out in his underwear, place a towel on the bed, and force her to lie down. Then he would do the same things he did to the other women. Jane Doe 3 says this happened at least 20 times. One time, she said no, and Smokey offered her $500 if she would allow him to touch her in a way. She still refused. She finally quit in April 2024 after she couldn't take the anymore. She also says Francis was always yelling and using racist words against her.
One employee says Robinson sexually assaulted her at least 23 times.
Jane Doe 4 worked for Smokey Robinson and his wife for the longest time. She started working for them in October 2006 and left in April 2024. She did many jobs, cleaning, cooking, helping Francis with her hair. Jane Doe 4 says the first time she was in 2007.
And the oldest of these cases going back to 2006, employment in that year, and you mentioned the latest happening just last year.
She went with Smokey to Las Vegas. When they were alone, he allegedly her in a bedroom. Years later, in 2019, she says she was cleaning the main bedroom. Smokey came out of the shower and erect. He did the same towel on the bed routine and attacked her. She says this kept happening until she finally quit her job. All 4 women say they were shouted at and insulted by Francis Robinson. They say she used racist words and made their work life very stressful and painful. They believe Francis helped create a scary and hostile place to work. She didn't protect them. She didn't listen to their cries for help. Instead, she added to their pain. People may wonder why these women didn't go to the police earlier or speak out before now. The answer is simple but sad. These women were very poor and needed their jobs badly. They couldn't afford to miss work or lose money. They had rent to pay, families to feed, and no other options. They were scared of being blamed or shamed by their communities. In many cultures, women are often blamed when they are hurt in this way. They were also scared because Smokey Robinson is a very famous person. They thought no one would believe them. These women stayed silent for a long time, living with pain and fear every day. But now, they are brave enough to speak out. They want justice. They want people to know what happened to them. They want Smokey Robinson and his wife to be held responsible for what they did. They don't want anyone else to be hurt the way they were. This lawsuit is not about money or fame. It's about standing up for what is right. It's about giving a voice to women who were silenced for too long. It's about showing the world that no matter how rich or famous someone is, they must follow the law. And if they hurt others, they must be held accountable. The court will look at the facts and decide what will happen next. But for now, we should listen to these women and understand how hard it was for them to speak up. We should support them and make sure the truth comes out. Every person, no matter their job or background, deserves to feel safe. No one has the right to take that away. These women worked around the same time. But even though they were going through something similar, they didn't talk to each other about it. Each one thought she was alone. Each one felt too embarrassed to speak up. Mr. Robinson used this silence to his advantage. He hurt them, and they stayed quiet. But one day, they finally opened up. They started to talk. And once they did, it was like a flood of emotions came out. They cried. They shared their pain. They supported each other. It was the first time they didn't feel alone anymore. That's why they decided to come forward together. Besides saying Mr. Robinson raped and harassed them, the women also said their workplace was toxic. They were not treated fairly. They were not paid the minimum wage or given overtime. They didn't get proper lunch or rest breaks. They didn't even receive records of how many hours they had worked. This added more pain and stress to an already terrible situation. They felt used and disrespected not only as women, but also as workers. Their lawyers say Mr. Robinson caused deep emotional harm. They say he should pay for what he did. The women are asking for at least $50 million in damages. That's a large amount of money, but their lawyers say it's fair. No amount of money can erase the pain, but they believe it's important to send a message. Former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani also spoke about this case. He said he was shocked after reading the complaint. He has seen many cases in his career, but this one really disturbed him. He couldn't believe how similar the women's stories were. Each woman told of Mr. Robinson taking a shower, laying down a towel, and then attacking her. These things often happened in parts of the house without cameras. They say Mr. Robinson did this when his wife was away or busy, like getting her nails done. He knew when no one was watching. He used his power to hurt women who trusted him. They claim he didn't just hurt them, but may have also done the same to other women in the past. These earlier women reportedly settled their cases quietly. Now, people are asking, why are so many women coming forward? And what does this mean for Smokey Robinson?
Smokey Robinson's attorney, his name is Christopher Frost, says, as this case progresses, the evidence, the crucial element that will guide us, will show that this is simply an ugly method of trying to extract money from an 85-year-old American icon.
Usually people who harm others in these kinds of ways tend to repeat the same behavior. This has happened before with other famous men. For example, R. Kelly was known to target underage girls.
R. Kelly is spending more time in prison after being sentenced federally for child and enticement of minors for.
Harvey Weinstein hurt adult women who worked in movies.
Verdict reached in the closely watched trial of Harvey Weinstein, the once powerful Hollywood producer who was charged with 5 felony counts of predatory, criminal and rape.
Diddy, another famous man, was also accused of.
In November 2023, the rapper's ex-girlfriend R&B singer Cassie filed a civil lawsuit alleging over the course of 10 years she was plied with and viciously beaten by Diddy.
Now, Smokey is facing similar claims. These aren't just one-time stories. When multiple women say similar things, people begin to take notice. It may suggest a pattern.
The attorneys and the lawsuit saying that you could see a pattern in these allegations. All of them were either housekeepers or house staff, and some of them even working together at the same time.
In this new lawsuit, there are 4 women involved. But according to reports, there may be other women from the past who also said Smokey did wrong to them. If those older settlements involved, and if the law allows, those women might also get to tell their stories in court. Even if they signed private deals before, California law says that in cases, those agreements don't always matter anymore. This means that what was once private could now be shared in court. What's also surprising is that Smokey's wife is being named as one of the people being sued. The women are saying she screamed at them and used racial slurs like I said earlier. These women are Hispanic, and they say she targeted them for their race. While the most serious claims are about the workplace also matters. No one should be yelled at or treated badly at work because of their race. That kind of behavior is illegal in California. In California, the law is very strict when it comes to protecting workers. The state gives strong rights to people who are hurt on the job. If someone is harassed, discriminated against, or touched inappropriately, they can sue. Judges and juries in California often support the workers in these kinds of cases. So even if the claims are shocking, the workplace treatment matters too. People often ask, why are these women not going to the police? Why are they filing a civil lawsuit instead? A former prosecutor explained that going through a criminal case is much harder. In a criminal case, the evidence has to be really strong. The court must believe the accused is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That is a high bar. If it's one person's word against another's, prosecutors sometimes say no. They want easier cases they know they can win. But when a person files a civil lawsuit, they have more control. It's not about putting someone in jail. It's about getting justice and sometimes money for the harm done.
When it comes to in a he said, she said type situations, it can be tough to prove a case like that because jurors are sometimes skeptical of the testimony of one victim. But when you have victim after victim telling the same story.
Also, some of the women's stories are very recent. They say these things happened just last year. That makes people wonder even more. Why didn't the police act? In some places, the law enforcement system doesn't work well for victims. In the past, some top law officials didn't take these cases seriously. But now in Los Angeles, the new district attorney is said to be more aggressive. Still, it's the victim's choice to go to court in a civil case when they feel the police won't help them. It is also very hard for regular people to go against famous people. Celebrities have lots of money and fans. Many people love Smokey Robinson. He's been famous for a long time. So, when someone accuses him of something bad, some fans may not believe it. They may say the women are lying or just want money. That's why the women who are speaking out are using fake names and covering their faces. They are scared of what people might say or do to them. People who work with victims say this kind of abuse is very common in the music world. There are cases against many music stars. People like Kanye West, Lizzo,
I just took a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch.
Jason Derulo,
You know what to do with that big fat wiggle wiggle.
and even Megan Thee Stallion have been involved in court battles, some as victims, some as people accused of wrongdoing. Sadly, this happens a lot in show business, but victims are often afraid to speak out. They don't want to be blamed, or they fear no one will believe them.
We went from the Me Too movement to the Pay Me Too movement. And I said it yesterday and will continue to say it. Lawyers that take these cases should be brought up on some type of RICO because this is organized crime at this point.
Many lawyers say they talk to women who have been hurt, but those women don't want to go to court. They don't want to talk about it in public. Even when the court hides their names, their stories still become public. In one recent case against Soulja Boy, the woman had to stand in court and speak about what happened. She had to relive the trauma. That is very painful, and many victims can't handle that. So, for every one woman who speaks out, there might be 10 others who stay silent. When it comes to settling these lawsuits, most don't go to trial. That means both sides usually agree to a deal before the court date. The person being sued might pay money to avoid the trial. That may happen here too. Some reports say Smokey has already paid money to women in the past. If that's true, he may settle again. But we don't know how much money he has or if he can pay $50 million. That's something the lawyers and the court will work out. Many people are talking about this lawsuit. It has become big news. Several popular news websites like The Cut, People, and El País have written stories about it. These websites gave details about the case and shared what is happening. Because of these reports, more people now know about the situation. Some people read the stories and say they support the people who made the complaint. They believe the people telling their stories are brave. They think it is good that the truth is coming out. But not everyone feels the same way. Some people are waiting before saying how they feel. They say they want more information first. They don't want to choose a side until they hear all the facts. They believe it is important to stay fair. Some people also think the media should be careful when reporting stories like this. They feel that talking too much about it before the court makes a decision could be unfair to both sides. So, the public reactions are not all the same. Some support the people bringing the case. Others want to wait and see what happens. Now, both sides in the lawsuit are getting ready for what comes next. This means lawyers will collect more evidence. They will look at documents, videos, and other things that could help their case. Each side will try to prove they are right. The lawyers might also speak with witnesses. These are people who know something important about the case. They might be asked to speak in court. This step takes time, and both sides have to follow the legal rules. After this, a judge or jury might listen to everything in court. They will decide who is telling the truth. They will look at all the proof and make a decision. This process is called a trial. But before a trial, there may be other steps, like meetings between the lawyers to see if they can agree on something. If they cannot agree, the case will move to court. People are watching closely. They want to see what happens next and how the law will handle this case.